Welcome to my milking cottage on the Demi Rosa. Hi everybody. Today I think I'm going to do some jelly. I was talking to a neighbor and he has some mulberries coming on and he was asking me if I'd like to have some to make some mulberry jelly. I've never heard of mulberry jelly. I don't know that I've ever tasted it. So please leave a comment if you think we should give it a try, see what happens. But today, my favorite jelly is sand plum jelly, which they're coming on, but it will be a month or so. And blackberry jelly. One of my favorites is cherry jelly, but I don't have any cherries. I don't know anybody who has any cherries. But the family story is that Grandma would make grape jelly for everyone using grape juice, Welch's grape juice. Well, so I'm going to give a shot today with store-bought cherry juice. And we're just going to see how that works. So y'all come along and let's make some cherry jelly. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put our jars that are clean, we're going to just put them into our hot water to get them sterile, absolutely for sure, for certain. There we go. And these jars are leftover, probably had mushrooms in them when I get a number 10 can of mushroom stems in pieces. Then I open that up and recan it in my little jars because these little jars are about the size you need for a recipe. So I just recan it and it's much, much, much cheaper that way. So, and you'll just have to excuse everything in the windows, and I have absolutely no storage. We live in a straw bale house that we built probably 23 years ago. And so they say, never moved into an unfinished house, which we did. And so therefore our house has never been finished. And we have no storage, none. Didn't do that, didn't plan very well there. But anyway, we have a straw bale house that we heat with one wood stove and a couple of window units. So I can't complain much. But I'm probably surely I do. So anyway, so we now have our jars in our hot water to be sterilized, as you can see. Okay, our jars are in the hot water, and this is white vinegar. I always put this in with my jars to keep them from clouding up, and I also put them in with my my lids, just so that nothing clouds. And I just prefer to have non-cloudy jars and lids. So now for the fun stuff. Since I don't have cherries, and I told you I was going to use juice, I'm using this juice that I bought, and I need 3, and according to my Sure Gel, I'm going to use 3.5 cups of prepared juice. So I'll put that in my heavy bottomed pot. Then 1 tablespoon of butter so that it doesn't foam in the end or foam much. Then we're going to use our full packet of pectin. And then we're going to do the stirring and the stirring and the stirring. We'll turn our burner on high. We'll get one of these. And then we just stir now until it becomes at a full boil, which means that even when you stir it, it's still boiling. So we'll do that. That'll take a minute or two, so I will do this and I will see you back in just a bit. Okay, well, we are at our rolling boil stage. So now we're going to just dump in 4 cups, or 6 cups actually, 6 cups of sugar. And we're going to stir that in and get that all melted and dissolved. Then we're going to bring this back up to a full rolling boil and let it boil for 1 minute. While we're doing that, I'm going to tell you a quick story about my jelly making past. And it was all my mother's fault. She would come out and spend the weekends with us, and we had this beautiful pasture. It was about 1.5 acres, but it had my sand plums, lots and lots of sand plums. But my mother had watched this movie, A Walk in the Clouds. Well, that ruined us. She had this romantic vision of a vineyard, and so she came one day and she told us that she had purchased 550 Zinfandel wine grape vines. So then it became a real rush. We had to plow that pasture and get ready to put in 1 acre's worth of vines, which is no small feat. No small feat. So we got that done, and needless to say, it was my baby. Pat was working, Mother was working, and so the grapes were sort of somewhat mine to deal with. And they were beautiful. They were gorgeous. It's such a love-hate relationship. You just hated them until they came on and they were gorgeous and they were lovely and yummy, and oh my goodness, it was a love-hate relationship. I remember when you had to trim the vines, I would go to bed at night with my hands on pillows just crying because my hands hurt so bad from cutting vines all day long. All day long. See, that hurts. It was awful. But it was wonderful. I had several festivals. You pick your grape festivals, and several amateur wine vintners would come out, and oh, here we go. So we're going to boil this for a minute. And you have to be careful because now it's going to pop on you, and yikes, it hooks when it does that. So I blow on it so it doesn't hurt and pop up so hard. But the festivals were very much a success. I had a couple of wineries come out and bring wine to sell. We had food and a band, and it was wonderful. It was so much fun. But it was so much work. So much work. The hottest out part of the summer. But I put up some juice, and I tell you, sand plum juice and Zinfandel wine grape juice were pretty much the same as far as sweet and sour. The sweet and sour of the sand plum and the sweet and sour of the Zinfandel wine grapes, they're truly spectacular. Okay, I'm going to get my jars out of the water over here, and we'll see. Look, no foam. No foam. So I need to get my jars out and get them loaded and get busy. Okay, so here is our wonderful jelly, yummy. Now we're going to put it into our pint jars, half pint jars. So carefully pour it in. Look at 1/2 inch headspace. It smells really good. I bet you I can get all of this done in one shot on my... It's really hot. When I put them in the water bath. What we have to do now is get these loaded, put their lids on and their seals, sit the seals and the rings on, and then we're going to just water bath them for 5 minutes and let them sit overnight or for 24 hours, and we will have some yummy cherry jelly. So, oh, I'm gonna have lots of room. Yeah, I need to make sure that there's at least 2 inches of headspace above your jars when you're water bathing them. As I remember picking when the grapes would come in, I would have bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels and bushels. And I would spend days, it felt like, picking, cleaning, crushing, juicing. Oh my goodness. But it made a wonderful jelly. It made pretty good wine too, from what I hear. That's not something that we did, but from what I understand, it made some really good wine. So this last one I'm just gonna pour in here. And you know what? This one's just gonna get to go in their fridge. I'm gonna eat it tonight. Yummy. Okay, so now what we're gonna do with our jars is we're going to take our white vinegar and we're going to clean off the tops so that we don't get anything under our lids, so that they will adhere perfectly. This jelly is yummy sweet. I tasted it. It's really good. Yummy cherry jelly. Can't beat it. So the Zinfandels were a wonderful experiment. We enjoyed them while we had them. But the only way you can ever make money with a vineyard like that is if you have a winery, which we did not. So we eventually had to let them go. We lost Mother, and it was just not something that Pat and I really could handle. And so we had to let the vines go. Owie! But it was a wonderful experience. It was something that I'm glad we did once. And to all you out there who are thinking about possibly doing a vineyard, go back into the light. Go back into the light. It's scary. It's labor, intensive labor, unless you have people. And we didn't have people. We didn't have people. So for us, it was extremely difficult. We still joke about how we probably glow in the dark because we had to put this horrible stuff on. Because in Oklahoma, we have black mold. And it gets on the grapes, and that's just not good. Kills your vines. So you have to spray it every 2 weeks in the summer, and it's just horrible, toxic stuff. Once it dries, it's okay, but when you're out there in the wind in Oklahoma, because the wind blows in Oklahoma, and you're spraying that, Pat would drive on the tractor, and I would be with my little wand out there spraying all the vines. And we often wonder exactly what color we glow in the dark from all of that horrible stuff that we did. So now, back to this jelly. We are now going to put it into our rolling boil pot. put these in. And because they're full, I'm going to bring the water level up to 2 inches above the lid. And we're going to let that come back up to a little bit more of a boil. Although everything is really hot in there. Let me scooch it over so you can see that it is about 2 inches. But I want to get it to just a little bit more of a boil. And then we'll time that for 5 minutes. And our jelly is well on its way. Well, our 5 minutes is up, which means now we can turn off the heat. Let's move this over here so it'll be easier. And now all you do is just take your jars out of your water bath and set them over on a pad where they can be, just live there for 24 hours. Hopefully here in a minute you'll get to hear some pops, which will tell you that your seal has been made and that you are good to go. I love it when it pops. But that really is how simple it is to make jelly. If you live someplace where you can't get fruit, just go to the store and buy a concentrated juice. Yay! And you can just make jelly, make homemade jelly at home and stick it in your pantry, because food prices are going to be out of sight. Whatever you can do to help your family to have another paw. To have your family have good food, that's just wonderful. And it's not as expensive as if you do when you do it yourself. So I'm going to listen to the pop and the cracks and listen to my jelly seal. Y'all have a wonderful day. Have a very blessed day. God loves you. I love you. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe. And just get out there and make some jelly. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless.